Over the past 2 months, we've been busy pushing the game closer to a demo launch. We have a lot of things to cover in this log, so sit back, relax, and let's jump into it. June and July were busy months in and out of the studio. In July, I took a trip to LA to see one of our team members, Jake, for a week, and for the rest of the month, I was teaching 2 summer courses. Even with the trips and work, the team and I were able to make a lot of progress, which, for this log, I'm breaking down to 3 categories: weapons, environments, and characters. Let's start off with weapons. There have been 6 weapons added to the game, each with their own features and abilities. For example, we have the MD rifle, which is able to have a blade extend from its barrel to act as a bayonet. We also have our new revolver, which is able to have the cylinder slide out either side, depending on which hand you pick it up with. These weapons are just the beginning as we continue to model and add features to new weapons. We plan on there being over 20 weapons eventually, and to have at least 10 for the demo launch. This brings us some of the updates to weapons, like how 2-handed weapons now work. It took me a bit to figure out the coding for it, but now I have 2-handed weapons working with minimal jank, even solving some problems seen in other popular games like Pavlov. There are also ballistic fixes. Before, sometimes shots would phase through targets and not send a hit call to deal damage. I went through it and changed the ballistic math to a specific damage type, and I'm using the deal damage node instead of just a basic collision check, which is much more accurate. In other words, blaster shots work properly now. I've also added a highlight feature when you're about to interact with an object. This helps for identifying what you're about to interact with. The effect is meant to be similar to other hologram effects in game, but also not be too distracting. The last major thing for weapons is adjustables like scopes. I made it so scopes can be adjusted with triggers and can be locked with the ability button in-game. This way, players can be more comfortable when looking down sights. There are a bunch of other smaller things like specific weapon tweaks, but I think this covers the gist of weapons. Getting into environments, we have updates for some levels and style in general. Let's start with the new testing room. I wanted to have a room where I can continue testing features myself, but also for when the demo launches, players can test out features themselves. There are temp assets in place in some spots and not even modeled sections yet, but that's mainly because I'm working on features rather than the final look of this place, for now. For the testing room, we have our main area in the middle where players can spawn. The forward section will be for mobility and potentially simulated races for players to test their parkour abilities. To the right, we have a collectibles room for items found in the full launched game, and to the left, we have our new testing range. The testing range is still being set up, but for now, it gets the job done, especially for the features and fixes I already covered with weapons. The final update to environments is us honing in on this finalized style. I wanted to find a way to match the organic, man-made, and natural items in a way that felt like they were in a similar style. I've been taking inspiration from games like Ratchet & Clank, Spyro the Reignited trilogy, and other games that fit within the same area of stylized but not fully cartoony look. With that said, I've been working on new environment pieces and processes in order to help me speed up the creating of these assets. For example, these new cliffs, I focused more on having a uniform shape language and making a smart material so that way I can make the models, optimize them, and then slap a material on them that works no matter what the cliff asset is. These techniques will be used in finishing the campaign demo map this month of August. Finally, let's get into the updates for the characters. The first thing I should note here is that we have a new intern. His name is Dom, and he originally was working on weapon designs, and now he's working on a character modeling and animating. So far, he's made 1 enemy character and fully rigged them. I've also made another enemy character, the Etherean Spitfire. The rig is set for both in-game animations and for our first cinematic that James is working on. Another thing that went on in the past months was James and I working through a storyboarding process for animation, but more on that next time when we have the cinematic done. Alongside this, James has been helping me with the grant animation fixes. We're currently on V3, and the final steps will be fixing the crouching head and shoulder positions. This leads me into the next thing, arm fixes. I made the arm IKs work differently than the last time that they were shown. The most important thing to note here is that there are no longer floaty hands from a disconnect at the wrist, and that there are stretchy arms. I made it so that their arms stretch in order to compensate for extra distance from the controllers that may go out of reach of the IKs. I also am now doing a classic FPS trick where there's a model shown for the player and a different model shown for everyone else, including cameras. The reason for this is so that the arms and movement feel better for the player, while also making it so other players look good when doing potentially janky moves. All in all, these past months have been busy, but amazing for testing out and building new aspects of the game. If you want to see more, make sure to subscribe and follow our social media accounts. I want to make this log a little more quick, but also show the updates in a more clear way, so let me know what you guys think. With that said, I hope you guys have a good day, a good night, whatever it is, I hope it's going good. Peace out.